Welcome to Mamahood After Trauma, where we stop pretending and heal out loud. I'm Emily Claycorn, trauma survivor, cycle breaker, and mama rebuilding from the inside out. If you're ready to break cycles, trust yourself again, and rise without shame, you're in the right place. Let's go. Before we dive in, I want to introduce you to something brand new. If you love the podcast and want a deeper connection to your healing, check out the monthly Peace Pack, a small trauma-informed tool delivered each month straight to your mailbox to help you find calm in the everyday. You'll also get access to our private Patreon community where mamas like you can share, support, and learn together. Sign up with the link in the show notes. Hello, mama, and welcome to this episode of the Mamahood After Trauma podcast. I am thrilled that you were able to take some time out of your busy mama schedule to tune in and listen to our conversation today. Today, we are joined by Dan. Welcome.
Hi. Yeah, glad to be here, Emily. Thanks for having me on your wonderful and important show.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I'm looking forward to our conversation today. So let's dive right in, shall we?
Absolutely.
If you could start just by introducing yourself and sharing how you came to work in this space, that would be lovely.
Yeah, happy to. So, like you said, I'm Dr. Dan Sneider. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and I'm also a parent of two young kiddos. We were just chatting about kids getting sick and being in school and part of that particular joy of parenthood. So, yeah, my specialty is working with couples. And so much of the time, I'm working with couples that are navigating the shift in their lives, their relationship, and their family when they go into parenting mode, having young kiddos in particular. That's a group of people that I absolutely love working with and have been doing that for more than 10 years. So even before my kids were born, I was working with couples and with families, and now I have all the experience to support the schooling and the education that I did with that group. But yeah, I know how hard it was in my relationship to navigate parenting, and especially me as a dad. Important job, but very different from the important job of being a mama. And so, in many of the couples that I work with, I'm helping dads support the mom in the relationship, and moms trying to navigate the whole mix of being
Yeah.
in a relationship, often working in addition to parenting, and all of that. So it's a little bit about me and the work that I do.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And, I think parenting and managing uh, marriages and relationships has always been an interesting kind of balance. But I think now, in where we are in our society, things are shifting. Um, and it seems that more millennial parents are doing the work of not just parenting their kids, but also reparenting themselves and navigating that. So what what have you seen in your practice? Um, how how are people navigating that in your experience?
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So, for so many of the people that I work with, like you said, they want to be great parents. They don't want to
Mhm.
just be good enough parents. We want to be rock star parents. We want to get healthy food in our kids' bodies. We want them to be in activities. We want them to share their feelings with us, to have a safe home environment. And for a lot of us, we didn't have that when we were kids and growing up, or maybe we had one or two of those things, but maybe not all of it. And the pressure or the expectation to do all of the things is overwhelming and
Absolutely.
kind of impossible. I say
Hmm.
that gently because I know that there's listeners out there who are like, oh, it's not impossible for me. I just, don't take care of myself
Yeah.
sometimes and I don't sleep and there are other consequences, but I can do it. So it comes at a price to try to do all
Hmm.
the things. And I really very much want to be a voice to validate, like we see all the amazing work that the parents are doing out there, the moms in particular. And in a lot of the sessions that I have with male and female couples, that pressure to perform, it's on both parents, but mamas really feel that pressure more and feel it differently. And often will see in their partner, like, they are not feeling the same pressure I am, so I
Hmm.
have to do more to make up for that difference, and it can cause friction and conflict and really bad feelings. And so, one of the things that I want to share with your audience at my website, theintimacyshift.com, I have a handout that I want people to get because it's the steps that I teach couples for how to be able to talk about their feelings, about
Hmm.
parenting situations, about intimacy in a way that can get both people to feel seen and heard and
Hmm.
not miss the message, especially when we're parenting. Being able to have time and energy for a conversation is tricky at best. And
Hmm.
the message can quickly get lost if it feels like one person is blaming or
Hmm.
criticizing the other person or has big, big feelings that the other person wasn't ready to hear. So that's why I created that handout and really want people to be able to have these important conversations so that they can get their needs met.
Yeah, and I think those communication skills of knowing how to talk about maybe the more sensitive topics, um, are critical because when when you're trying to talk to your spouse or your significant other and you bring something up and they hear blame or shame or whatever accusatory statements, their survival instinct of I can't handle this right now. This person is attacking me and they're not going to hear what you're actually saying. So, understanding how to have those conversations is huge. So, maybe you could share one or two tips, communication tips for mamas or for both parents, really.
Yeah, oh, I'm so happy to. And I know the name of your podcast, right? It's like double barreled, right? Mamahood and after trauma. And so
Yeah.
the things that I'm going to share are helpful for moms, for relationships, and also very helpful for navigating any traumas or any big reactions, big feelings that are coming up. And so the first thing that I encourage all couples to do is to really plan and set aside specific time for checking in about the relationship, about the schedule, about anything really that's going on. But having a time dedicated, on the calendar so that both people know, hey, on Sunday afternoons or Thursday mornings, we have 30 minutes or an hour set aside where we're going to be talking about things. And that's incredibly important because number one, like I said earlier, time and energy are at a
Mhm.
premium at this phase of life. And the other part too is in a relationship, there's usually one person that's eager to talk about things, that
Mhm.
maybe is a planner, maybe has more of an anxious, worried brain, and so has just a lot of things on their mind all the time. they may not know the best way or time to share those things. And so
Mhm.
this way they know on this day and time, that's my chance, and my partner knows it's coming. Because on the other side in a relationship, there's often one person that could be a bit more avoidant, a bit
Mhm.
more withdrawn, tends to push things to the side or to leave things hanging. And that's not great either. There's a reason why somebody does that, but we need a place where
Absolutely.
they can know, all right, this is the chance for us to talk, and this is my opportunity. And I don't have to try to find a perfect moment. Like, this
Mhm.
is the time that's set aside. So, first step for couples is really getting on the same page with just scheduling that time and place to take some of the pressure off, finding a different time during the week. Or, like me and my relationships, I know so many of our conversations would happen in passing, right?
Mhm.
I'm going to change a diaper while the other person is going to make a snack. And I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, hey, remember, we've got to do this thing. And the other person may or may not really remember that or take that in. And if it gets lost in passing or creates a conflict, that is no fun and can
Mhm.
really ruin the day. So I want couples to have like a space that's just theirs to talk about the relationship and any important things that they need to get sorted out.
Yeah, that's a great tip. For me, in my relationship with my husband, uh, usually we catch up after the kids are in bed because
Mhm,
otherwise the kids interrupt us a bazillion times.
mhm.
They don't need anything until you're actually talking, and then they need 75 things.
Yeah.
Um, but like, I'll just start talking, uh, when something comes to mind, and he's in La La Land scrolling, and he's not listening, and then I get mad at him because he's not listening,
Mhm.
so planning a time would be very helpful.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And you set me up really well to share the second step, right? So once we've got that time set aside, or after the kids go to sleep and there's something on your mind that you want to talk about, the second part is like, how do we get present in the moment,
Mhm,
right? How do we put down our phones, right? Or how do we actually like come here into this room? We're not thinking about the 15 things that we have to do later that day or processing the 87 things that just happened, before the
mhm,
conversation. So, yeah, that second step is doing a grounding exercise, some way for the two of you to connect with each other, to get calm and settled in that space with the other person. And there's lots of ways that you can do that. A quick way that I think about is just using my five senses.
mhm,
So, is there something with touch, taste, smell, or sound that would help me to be present in that moment? So, things like lighting a candle, putting on soft music, taking deep breaths together while we, look at each other, or have our eyes closed and just get settled in quiet peacefulness. But taking 2 minutes to just
mhm,
set the stage, set the scene like that pays huge benefits because even if we have time set aside and I know we're going to
mhm,
talk, if we just jump into something, I am so much more likely to be defensive, to be
mhm,
distracted, not to have my mind clear. So that 2 or 3 minutes is going to help both people to relax and really
mhm.
like be thoughtful and kind to each other when we're talking about things.
Yeah, yeah, because it gives that 2 or 3 minutes really gives you a chance to reset and set whatever that you're carrying with you from the day, set it aside, put it down for a minute, and be present in that moment. I love that.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. And I know for so many moms out there, and I didn't quite have this experience even when my kids were young and things were a little bit different, but that feeling of being touched out.
Mm,
I hear so many moms that I work with talk about by the end of the day, like they just can't be touched anymore. And they mean that literally. And
Mhm.
also, I know just at a nervous system level, it's that really activated energy of like kind of crawling out of your skin.
Mhm.
And so that 2 or 3 minutes, like, you may still not be ready for a whole lot of touch, and that's fine. But that feeling, those words just speak loud and clearly, like, I need to regulate in some kind of way. I might need, like, a comfortable blanket to wrap around me. I might need a hot shower. I might need just that extra sensory thing that's just for
Mhm.
me to settle that, like, super loud voice that's kinda screaming inside. So that's how this 2 or 3 minutes can also help those mamas that are,
Yeah.
just super activated.
Yeah. Yeah, because that overwhelm does show up in sensory ways as well as emotional and physical ways. So, thanks for bringing that up. How can our listeners connect with you further if they'd like to do so?
Yeah, no, I would love that. So, the intimacyshift.com is the best place to connect with me. You'll drop your email there and you'll immediately get that free 12-page PDF that I mentioned earlier that has my first 6 steps to having these kinds of healthy, intimate conversations with your partner. And so we shared those first couple steps, and leading from there, we're going to talk about how to continue having those kinds of really juicy, healthy conversations with your partner. A lot of the work that I do is with couples. I also do work with individuals. And so much of what I do is about getting in tune with your feelings and being able
Mhm.
to share them in healthy ways,
Mhm.
particularly emotional intimacy and trust building in relationships, and also physical intimacy and closeness, which of course changes as relationships change, as we have kids, as we've been living together longer. Intimacy can grow with time, but it can also, you know, shrink. It can adjust in different ways. And we want to make sure that we're using all the best tools and proven methods to help our relationships feel passionate and connected and close.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being on the Mamahood After Trauma podcast today, Dan. It was a pleasure having you and hearing your wisdom.
Thank you, Emily.
Thanks for listening to Mamahood After Trauma. Take one insight from today, breathe, reflect, and keep healing out loud. Subscribe to the podcast for more stories, tools, and support. And remember, Mama, you're breaking cycles and rising with honesty. Until next time, mend the past so you can Mama in peace.